So honestly, this video is probably not going to be that long. I'm not going to go super in detail of the email, but I am going to go ahead and break down my thought process, the research, a little bit of the research because the research is pretty extensive, as you can see. Uh, 6 pages of research and outlining. But yeah. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Holden Glass or Mr. Glass. I'm a freelance copywriter, digital marketer, ad strategist, funnel strategist, whatever you may be. And pretty much my main offer is writing copy, particularly for agencies and their clients, right? So if an agency brings me in and says, hey, we've got a client that needs help with XYZ type of marketing, they'll bring me on for the deliverables, or I work on a freelance basis for people who have their own offer. Typically, it tends to be agencies though. So there was this agency, email marketing agency for Ecom brands that had reached out to me for a test. And the test was just one email, right? Just one email. And they wanted to see what my skill set was like. So I was like, okay, cool. Did some research on one of their clients. This is email 2 of a welcome flow based on what they told me they wanted. And I ended up guessing correctly. Guessing. It wasn't more so a guess. It was more so they just gave me kind of like loose parameters. And from those parameters, I made an inference that it would be like a welcome series-esque email. And so here we go. Subject line, Roost Easy. You've made the right choice name. So the brand, a little bit about the brand. It's called Middlebird. I actually didn't. They're like very particular about this, right? But they sell these, like, you guys know those metal like statue-esque birds that you'll see, right? They sell those, so that's the product. Is not really anything more than that. That's the product. So it kind of makes it easy, and it kind of doesn't for reasons I won't get into in this video. But their brand uses a lot of bird-based puns and humor, especially seeing as they're New Zealand-based. And if you know anything about New Zealanders, their fascination with the kiwi bird and everything, right? So they make bird puns a lot. So with the subject line, rest easy, roost easy. The word roost is what birds do to rest. That's when they rest their feathers. So you made the right choice. This is pretty much standard welcome flow stuff. Let them know, reassure them, hey, you're in the right place. This is exactly what you're looking for. And then name is just standard email marketing. Preview text. A lot of copywriters skip the preview text, but it's actually paramount and kind of like up there with the subject line. You know what I mean? Like your subject line can be the driving factor behind your open rates, but for the most part, you definitely want to have the preview text in there as well, because that really just hammers in the intrigue factor for your readers, especially if you master the art of understanding the length of your preview text. In this instance, it's not that crazy. Like I didn't go too crazy on the intrigue. I just kind of went more so for the target audience who cares about like environmental stuff and art and all that jazz. So I just let them know, like, hey, like right here below the fold, this is exactly what you're here for. This is exactly what we provide, and that's why you subscribe to the email list. That's why you became, part of the brand family, or so much you may have it. Header image text. If you don't know what a header image is, if you go to any email in your inbox from Amazon or any brand, right? Any brand that sells physical products, not just e-com, like Starbucks or Domino's or what have you, and they have those banners, they have graphics, right? The emails are never plain text; they will have the graphics, and the header image is just what it says. It's the header image. It's the top graphic, and that's the text that it's going to contain. So it's kind of like a headline on a landing page or a sales page. That's how I treat them, at least. We don't wing it. Another bird pun, got to keep that in there. Brand voice is important. Our materials are sourced with precision and intent. This, again, ties back to the ICP, who cares about environmentalism, right? They want to make sure that the products that they are purchasing are ethically sourced. So, let people know, hey, we pay very close attention to our material sourcing process. This is something that we are very, we hold very deeply to us, is making sure that we're environmentally friendly, right? Precision and intent, 2 words that just spell out, hey, everything is done with diligence, right? Diligence. When you choose Metalbird, you're contributing to local communities and environmental conservation efforts. Again, just hammer this in point. Very important for the ICP that they are purchasing something environmentally friendly. No harmful materials, just pure recyclable steel gathered by humble workshop employees. So again, this now creates a sense of community. I can't speak. I'm going off 3 hours of sleep when I'm recording this, by the way. I pulled an all-nighter last night. Let's go. So when it comes to this line, right, why I included this, why I think it's important, because when it comes to the ICP and the research that I've done, for people that care about like the environment and things of that nature, they also tend to care about, the common person, the worker, right? They don't care about the corporation as much as they do more so care about the worker. So getting that line in there, just a little bit of, hey, again, just, showing our values that align with yours as our customer. This philosophy is held all the way down to our shipping process. Again, this is one central message, guys. That's one thing that a lot of amateur copywriters do not understand is that you need to have one central message throughout any one piece of copy, excuse me, right? So whether it's one sales page or like one landing page, no matter how long it is or how short it is, there needs to be one focal point, one central message that you carry throughout the entire piece of copy. Right? It could be an ad. It could be an ad that's like, we do XYZ for XYZ company, and we've done XYZ results. Click here to learn more. There's still one message. There's still one core message there. It's just not as obvious or as blatant as, say, like an email like this. But ultimately, anything that drives conversions did so because it spoke to somebody about a very particular topic that resonated with them. Recyclable cardboard with biodegradable links. I mean, come on, guys, what are we doing? I'm not going to repeat myself over and over. You're getting another home decor prop you're not getting another home decor prop that'll be forgotten in 7 months. You're showing your appreciation for sustainability and intimacy. Guys, a lot of gifts, right? Especially for a product like this, which admittedly can be not necessarily like forgetful, but like a lot of people don't really care for sentimental gifts, right? It's a harsh truth of the world. Um, doesn't mean you shouldn't try, obviously. But for the most part, if you get somebody something that's not like a material item, right? If you get something that's like I don't want to crap on the product because this is one of the clients, right? And I actually think it's very cool what they do. But I'm trying to think of another example. It was a gift that I didn't like. Somebody got me a gift that I didn't really care. I mean, I wasn't really happy because I tell people not to buy me gifts. That's not to say that's not for like any ego reason. I don't like it. A pair of socks, right? If somebody got you a pair of socks for your birthday, you're probably not going to remember that 7 months from now. It's probably not going to mean that much to you. As opposed to if I can prop up this brand and their products as something that's not, hey, this isn't just it's your birthday, so I had to get you something. Here's a pair of socks. It's more so like, hey, maybe you're really into the environment. Maybe you really like decoration. Maybe you really want to spruce up your backyard or your garden or whatever it may be that you have that, it's just kind of bland. And to keep it from being bland, I'm going to get you this metal bird, this thing that you can stick in a tree or on the side of your house or what may have you, and give you a bit more like personality in your garden, your backyard, your house, whatever it may be, right? Like me, I'm not the biggest home decor guy, but I am really big on architecture and like infrastructure. So where I live more so depends on the city and the neighborhood as opposed to actually furnishing the interior of the place. But the inverse of that would be somebody who really cares about decorating their apartment, putting up a bunch of pictures, putting in a bunch of furniture, and maybe cool art. And so that's the type of person where saying something like, "Hey, this is not just another home decor prop that'll be forgotten in 7 months." You're showing your appreciation for sustainability and intimacy. More importantly, intimacy because it's the thought of the gift. That's the type of person that we're trying to speak to here as well, in conjunction with the sustainability and everything. Right? The vision is simple, right? Make things easy. It doesn't matter as much here because it's a very simple product. It's not like I'm selling financial or info, and info is what I've sold the most of. So I have to use simplicity a lot. It's more so just telling people like, hey, it's literally just ethical art. There's no more to it. That's why the brand exists. It's ethical art. That's what my use of the word simple here is. Ethical art for those who enjoy the small things in life. This is shown in one of our flock favorites. Again, bird pun. So fan favorites doesn't really, nobody is going to pop out at the word fan favorites or bestsellers in the year 2025, right? You gloss over that pretty easily. But if you can make a joke out of it, like floss. I don't record when I'm tired, guys. Flock favorites, then you can kind of be like, oh, that's cute. And then they actually remember it for later. Like, oh, okay, the flock, right? Their fan base or their audience or whatever they call their customers. The baby bird bundle, often displayed to remind yourself of simpler times. So this line, right? When I was looking at the website and I was looking at their bundles, I went to the baby bird bundle and I saw it was either a review or it was a description of the product straight up, where it was like, yeah, like this is usually given to mothers because it's a baby bird and it's like three baby birds and then the mama bird, and it reminds them like, oh, you're an empty nester, but I still want to think about my kids. I don't want to feel alone in the house. I think it was a review. It had to have been a review. Regardless, that was the idea behind the baby bird bundle, including it there. And I was like, huh, that's pretty cute, right? Remind yourself of simpler times, back when all of your kids were still in the house and et cetera, et cetera. So you're part of the flock now. Again, just more brand stuff. This isn't necessarily a pun. It's just more, hey, the brand is about birds. You know, get something in there that tells people, hey, we have an actual personality. It's not just, oh, you're part of the family. There's nothing I hate more than brands that you. Not, I'm not even talking about jobs. You guys know how jobs would say, "Oh, you're part of a family now." That's not even what I'm talking about. That's a whole separate issue. Brands that call their fan base a family. Oh my goodness. Oh brother, where have I heard that before? Right. That's one thing about copy. I hate cliches. Despise them. Can't stand them. There's a difference between cliches and fundamentals. Right. Buy now is not a cliche. It's just a simple CTA that sometimes you don't need to get too fancy. This is a whole other video in itself, right? Cliches versus fundamentals. I might make that actually. That sounds fun because that means I can rant for longer about things I don't like when I read copy. And part of the flock now, take a look at some of our most popular designs below. Real simple, non-salesy CTA, really fundamental CTA. Hey, these are some of our more popular designs if you want to check those out. It's not pushing for you to make a purchase. It's not pushing for you to make a decision right now. It's not pressuring you. It's just leaving the option open because this email isn't designed to drive sales. This email is designed to nurture people who just signed up for the newsletter, who just got introduced to the brand. I don't have, oh, I forgot my pit bull was in here. You don't have to sell people immediately on the welcome flow. You nurture them first and you get it to where, okay, they don't mind opening your emails. They don't see you as spam. They see you as a brand that they actually like. There's not a lot of emails that I'm subscribed to that I open. It's like Chevrolet, the dealership, like my city's Chevrolet dealership, I open their emails because I like Corvettes. You know what I mean? Aside from that, I don't really open many emails. And I'm subscribed to a lot of info guys' email lists, and I might make that its own little outreach thing and tell them like, hey, look, bro, you sound like every other info guy. That's a whole other topic. Um, but yeah, real non-salesy, simple CTA telling people, hey, this is our collection. Feel free to take a look. You don't have to buy anything right now, but just more of what you like will be right here for you to see. And yeah, email's not too long, not too short. I literally think I captured the perfect length here. Perfect. I don't like using the word perfect, especially when it pertains to copywriting, but you know what I mean. Really good, happy medium on this length of the email. It doesn't really feel windy at all, but it didn't feel like, oh, shoot, it's over. Because you get that a lot with people who think like they hear. So there's three levels of copywriting, right? There's people at the start who think they have to write a ton. And there's people in the middle who hear, oh, simpler is better, and they think they have to write really short. And then there's people who are actually good and like, okay, length really depends on context and a whole flurry of factors and other contextual information. It should be long, but it can be short. So I'm going to try and hit that happy medium whenever I can. That's what I did here. Right? This is not a financial newsletter. This is not an info VSL. It doesn't need to be 3 pages, 5 pages long. It's not a sales page. It's email 2 of a welcome flow, right? So it doesn't need to be as short as an ad. It still needs to nurture, get this point across of the ethical art, the philosophy, the sustainability and everything. But at the same time, we don't want to bore people with too many details. We'll do that later when we do the promotional flows. And then we start hard selling and hard promoting. But yeah, it's just a quick breakdown of the email that got me hired at this ecom agency. I now work there full time. I don't disclose income ever. I don't disclose numbers, or I try not to, unless it's revenue that I've generated for a client. Then I disclose that because that's my intellectual property. Yeah, more videos soon whenever I have an idea that pops in my head and it's not me running off of 3 hours of sleep and forgetting how to say words. Deuces.